and welcome to another video. So today what I'm doing at the minute is I'm on the way to the daily walk, and I'm going to take you through my 5 biggest tips to putting on weight and putting on decent size. Don't get me wrong, I'm not massive or anything, but I have gone from a 7.5 stone boxer to my biggest 16 stone, and at the minute dieting I'm about 14.5 stone. So I'm just going to take you through 5 tips and my best advice really for and what I did for when trying to put on size. So yeah, we're on the way to daily walk now, just driving to a park that's not too far away. As soon as I get there, I'll catch up with you and give you the 5 tips. Right, so tip number 1 for when you're trying to grow or put on size is obviously eating. Keep your food high, eat, get loads of meals in. Obviously you need to be in a calorie surplus to grow. Some people will argue that, but the easiest way is going to be by being in a calorie surplus. So eating, work out what your maintenance is, eat around 300 to 400 calories over that, and then you'll start to grow. I did it the wrong way. I ate about 1,000 calories over and just turned fat, and then when it came to dieting I had to do absolutely loads. So in hindsight, eat clean and maybe just chucking an extra meal to what you eat at maintenance, and then you'll start to grow. Obviously you want to be putting on good size. You're not going to be putting on a stone a year of muscle, you'll be putting on 2 to 3 pounds. Obviously a bit more as beginner gains, but after that it'll be 2 to 3 pounds. So don't get disheartened when you're not seeing scales go up, just be touching off the mirrors. Tip 2, which is probably going to be the most important one, is consistency. Obviously you need to, that's throughout, so your training you need to be consistent with, whether that's lifting heavy, going for reps, whatever type of training you're going with. I have done a video about training splits, I'll link that below, but you can find it anyway. So whatever training split you choose, just make sure you're consistent. Don't be changing it week in, week out, because you're not going to be seeing results that way. Stick to it for at least 6 weeks, and then obviously review it then. Personally, I've always done the same training split ever since I started, because I still notice progress, but some people do change it up. So be consistent with your training, and obviously be consistent with your food. If you're eating good one day and then shit next day, or absolutely nothing the next day, you're not going to notice any changes. Biggest thing is consistency. Everything takes time. Like I said, I've probably been lifting now about 2.5 years, and you're not going to see changes overnight. It does take a while. So anyway, I will go ahead and give you tip number 3 shortly. Right, so tip number 3 is to make sure you get enough rest. So that's sleep, obviously, making sure you're resting outside of your training times, that sort of things. If you're not getting enough rest, you're not going to grow. Most of the growing you're going to be doing is outside the gym. Obviously, gym and the weights are going to be needed to stimulate the muscle, but the actual growing is going to be done when you're resting up, or when the fibres, when your muscle fibres are repairing themselves, and getting over the stress and injury putting through training. So that, so sleep and rest is a really big thing. Obviously taking days off the gym when you feel tired, not just taking pointless rest days, but when your body actually feels like it needs a rest, giving it that rest. Make sure you get enough sleep, make sure you get enough downtime, that sort of thing. So that's tip number 3. On to tip number 4. Right then, so tip number 4 is going to be motivation and mindset. So obviously you've got to always have a positive mindset, and constantly just reassuring yourself that you are making progress. A good way to do that is by doing weekly or bi-weekly photos or videos, so that you can see how far you've come. So you might look, obviously checking yourself in the mirror every day, you're going to look the same size. You as yourself, you're not going to notice the differences you're making. Whereas if you're doing a weekly photo and comparing it to the week before, you will see slight changes every week, and over a period of months you're going to see big changes. Another way you can tell that is, say you don't see someone for a while, and obviously you've been training hard, they're going to comment on the size you've put on, but with you looking at yourself and constantly checking every day, you're obviously not going to notice that. So if I was you, it's going to be hard, but try not to look in the mirror constantly. Don't worry if you are putting on a bit of body fat, just remember what's underneath it and what's going to come when you do come to cutting. Because obviously to put on good size, a lot of the time, not all the time, a lot of the time you've got to put on some fat. So it's obviously just keeping that positive mindset, remember what your goal is. It is going to be hard when you see yourself losing abs or when you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't feel like I've put on any muscle, I feel like I've just got fat. Trust me, changes are happening underneath, and they are going to be visible as well. In clothes you'll look bigger. You might just be with your top off, you might not be as happy, but remember, when you cut down, there will be that extra muscle there from the time you spent bulking. Like I said, you don't always have to put on fat when you are bulking, but a lot of the time you will. Example I gave earlier, I put on an absolute shit ton of fat that I then had to lose. I did that very badly, whereas if I'd done it properly, I'd probably only put on a few pounds rather than a few stone of excess fat that I've had to lose. And 5, the final tip, which I've slightly just touched on, is time. It is going to take time for you to grow. It's not an overnight process, it's not a few weeks, it's not a month or two. So when you see people doing these mini bulks into mini cuts into mini bulks, you're obviously noticing they're not making a change. Like the first bulk I did lasted for a full 16 months. And then I did a cut after that, and I noticed massive changes. Obviously, from the 8 stone me to what I was, what I am now. If you go on my Instagram, you can see like the comparison pictures and everything I've put on. I went from 8 stone to, like I said, just over 16. Obviously, a lot of that was fat. When I cut back for the show that I was meant to be competing in, I was just under, I think it was 11.5 stone, just under that. And obviously, there was significant changes in my muscle mass and the way I looked. So yeah, time. That's all it is. I've been bulking now since April of last year, so nearly a year again. I was meant to compete at the end of this year, but obviously with the lockdown, as I've mentioned before, I will be competing the year after. At the minute, I'm not doing a cut, I'm doing a reset. So I'm just getting myself back down on low body fat while the gyms aren't open. Because all you can really do when the gyms aren't open myself is maintain. I know I'm not going to grow muscle, but if I could cut the fat back, then when I start hitting the gym again, then I'll notice my change and I'll notice my muscle growth. So yeah, everything just takes time. Just remember that. People you see up on stage and the pros, they haven't spent months or 1 or 2 years getting there. They've spent years there, decades sometimes. It takes a long time to build good quality muscle. So don't get disheartened when changes aren't happening overnight. Like I said, I've been training nearly 2.5, 3 years, and I've still got a long way to go. Nowhere near where I want to be. So yeah, everything takes time, and just keep your mindset going there. So anyways, to wrap up, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you found the tips useful. Comment below if you think anything else would be useful, anything I haven't touched upon, anything you'd like me to speak about. But yeah guys, cheers for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.